Which score is this? A hint is to look at the key signature as well as noticing the eighth note septuplets in the right hand. This is Eusebius from Carnival. The composer is Robert Schumann. The date is 1835. The number of movements are 21. The genre is a piano cycle. The key is E flat major. The form is AABA. The meter is 2/4, and the instrumentation is solo piano. And you can remember that because you can maybe think of this as maybe a ride at the carnival. You're going to go to this carnival and you're going to go on, say, these Ferris wheels, and it's so exciting. And the time that the carnival opens is at exactly 1835. You don't want to miss it. The carnival opens at 1835. There are exactly 21 rides that you will be able to be on. And you can pretend that the four people who are organizing this carnival are Abigail, Adagio, Benjamin, and Adam, because it's AABA. And you are so excited to go. Let's say you invited 4 friends to come with you to the carnival, but actually only 2 are able to make it with you, so the meter is 2/4. So you invited 4 friends, but only 2 could come. And so that is from the Carnival by Robert Schumann. Here is a look at the score again. And you'll notice those septuplets in the right hand, and that is a characteristic of this work. Which work is this? Notice the right hand movement. Well, this is jeux d'eau, which means fountains. The composer is Maurice Ravel. The date is 1902. The genre is solo piano. The key is E major. The form is sonata allegro style. The meter is 4/4. The tempo is allegro. The instrumentation is solo piano, and the performer at the premiere was Ricardo Vinez. Now you can remember that it was fountains because when we look at the score again, you'll notice that the right hand is doing lots of like arpeggiation type movements in the right hand, and it looks like a waterfall or like a fountain, you know, the bubbling brrr, coming down. And you can remember it's by Ravel because Ravel was always very close to his childhood. You'll remember that he often based a lot of his compositions on fairy tales. And so you can pretend that when you're a child and you go to school, you drink water from a water fountain. And so it's a child, and Ravel was close to his childhood. You can remember the date is 1902 because if you remember the years of birth and date of Ravel, he was born in 1875 and he died in 1937. And those 3, 5, 7, 9 are all separated by 2s. And since Ravel was always close to his childhood, he learned to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. However, now it is with the odd numbers. And so again, here we have the 2 in the date, 1902. Now the meter is 4/4, and you can remember that because when you're young, the younger you are, it is quite easy for you to make friends. And if you ask 4 people to be your friends, probably all 4 of them will do it. And yeah, so the meter is 4/4. The tempo is allegro. Now you'll notice the word leg in the middle of there, L-E-G. And when you're a child, you love to run around and jump and play with your legs. And so you can remember that the tempo is allegro. And you can remember that the performer at the premiere was Ricardo Vinez because you remember Ricardo, one of my favorite shows is I Love Lucy, and lots of children love to watch the I Love Lucy show. And Ricky and Lucy's last name is Ricardo, and so that's how you can remember that one. So here is a look at that score again. Notice the key signature, E major, the allegro, and the right hand that looks like fountains. Here is a different score. Now, this one is Florestan from the Carnival. The subtitle is Little Scenes on Four Notes. The reason you can remember that actually is because Schumann often wrote some of his works using letters of a name. And in this case, he uses the letters ASCH. And those four letters he actually used in the very first four notes of this composition. And so it's a little scene on four notes. Just like Eusebius, the date is 1835. So Florestan is another crazy ride that you can come and play on at the carnival, and it opens exactly at 1835. So you will not want to miss it. There are exactly 21 rides at this carnival. Now, you can pretend that Florestan is the extrovert, and Eusebius was the introvert. So Florestan is the extrovert, and we can also pretend that Florestan is this boy who is so excited to come to the carnival. He's going to make sure he arrives there exactly at 1835. He's a little disappointed that he has to take his little sister G minor along with him because it might hinder some of his fun. But so Florestan, this extrovert, is so pumped, and he is going to take his little sister G minor along with him. But his mom said that he is allowed to stay out until 3-4. That's the latest he's ever been allowed to stay out from home, 3-4. So he is pretty excited about that it's 3-4. So here's that look again, and you can see it's Passinato, and Florestan, he is so excited to be able to come to the carnival. He is totally Passinato about it. So that's how you can remember that. Here is a different work. Notice the little pizzicato there in the bass clef? That must mean those are for strings, so that is a hint. Now that is the Violin Concerto in E minor, opus 64. It is the first movement. The composer is Felix Mendelssohn. The date is 1844. The genre is the Violin Concerto. The key is E minor. The form is Sonata Allegro with a cadenza. The meter is 2-2. The tempo is Allegro molto appassionato. The instrumentation is orchestra and solo violin. And it is dedicated to Ferdinand David. Ferdinand David. So the date is 1844, and so you can notice there's a 4 there, just like there's a 4 in the opus number. Opus 64, the date is 1844, and the meter is 2-2. 2 plus 2 equals 4, so that's a way to remember that. Also, there's a 6, and so 6 can be divided by 3, just like E minor, a capital E backwards, looks like a 3. So then we've got a 3, opus 64, and the tempo also has 3 words, Allegro molto appassionato. And the form has 4, Sonata Allegro with cadenza. So that's how you can remember that. That's by Felix Mendelssohn. Here's a little look at that score again. Which score is this? Notice the German lyrics. Well, it is a German requiem, and the composer is Johannes Brahms. The date is 1868. It's a large sacred vocal work. The key is E flat major. The form is rondo. The meter is 3-4. And the tempo is andante moderato. You'll have to pardon me, I do not know how to speak German. The instrumentation is orchestra, soloists, and SATB chorus. The text is biblical, based on Luther's translation, and it is dedicated to his mother. You can remember some of that information because Johannes Brahms was German, and of course, a lot of the title and the tempo are both in German, plus the large sacred vocal work. Well, you can think of like a large German church, and they sing vocal works, and this is in German. And yeah, so that's how you can remember some of that. The date is 1868, and it is the fourth movement. And so the fourth movement, and there's 2 8s in the date, 1868, and so 4 plus 4 is 8, and so it's the fourth movement, and the date is 1868. Now, 68, so the date is 68. If you divide that in half, it is 34. Now, that's exactly what the meter is, 34. So the date is 1868, and the meter is 34. Here's a look at that again. Which work is this? It is the Concerto for Orchestra, the fourth movement. The subtitle for the movement is Intermezzo Interroto. Interroto. I don't know how to pronounce that. Intermezzo Interroto. The composer is Bartók. The year of premiere is 1944. The number of movements are 5. The genre is an orchestral music. The key is C major. The form is A, B, A, interruption, B, A. So it's like a rondo style. The meter is 3/4. The tempo is allegretto. The instrumentation is orchestra, including 2 harps. And so the year of the premiere is 1944, and you'll notice it's the fourth movement. So the premiere is 1944, and the movement is the fourth one. The form is A, B, A, interruption, B, A. So there are 6 things there in the form. The A, B, A, interruption, B, A. Those are 6 letters, if you count the interruption as a letter. And the meter is 2/4. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And so the meter is 2/4, and the form is A, B, A, interruption, B, A. So that is the Concerto for Orchestra by Bartók. Here is a little look at that again. One more question about it. Who does Bartók mock in the middle of the movement? It is Shostakovich and his Symphony No. 7. So Bartók mocks Shostakovich and his Symphony No. 7 in the middle of the movement. All right, here's a new work. Wow, look how loud it is. There's a lot of fortissimos, and there's even a fortissimo. This is Quatuor pour la fin du temps. Hope I'm pronouncing that kind of right. So it's a quartet for the end of time, the second movement. Vocalise for the angel who announces the end of time. The composer is Messiaen. The date is 1941. The genre is chamber music, and the key is atonal. You can remember that the key is atonal because in the second movement, it's the angel who announces the end of time. It's for the angel who announces the end of time, and angel is kind of like atonal. They both start with A. So you can remember that. Now, 1941, there's the 2 1s because God is the number 1 person in my life and in the world. He is number 1. And so 1941, we got the 1s on the bookends. That's totally how you can enjoy your life, is to have God on both ends. 1941. So the quartet for the end of time, it is the second movement because there's 2 1s there. The second movement by Messiaen. The form is A, B, A prime. So again, we have the A's on the end. We got those bookends. The meter is 3/4, and the tempo is robust, modere, at the beginning anyway. So the instrumentation is piano, clarinet, violin, and cello, and then the inspiration was the book of Revelations from the Bible. Here's a look at that score again. Notice how loud it is, and when the end times come, it's going to be war, it's going to be fighting, it's not going to be this soft, peaceful time. And so look at all that fortissimo, and it's loud, and that is for Quartet for the End of Time by Messiaen. Here's a new work. That is Wozzeck, Opus 7, Act Act 3, Scene 4. Act 3, Scene 4. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. And so you can remember that Opus 7 because Act 3, Scene 4. And the composer was Berg. The premiere is 1925. And again, you got the 2 and the 5. 2 plus 5 equals 7. So we're all adding up things to 7 here. So Opus 7, Act 3, Scene 4. 3 plus 4 equals 7. The premiere was 1925. 2 plus 5 equals 7. The genre is expressionistic opera. The key is atonal. And the form is through composed. The meter is 3/4. Notice again, 3 plus 4 equals 7. So just like it's Act 3, Scene 4, the meter is 3/4. 3/4. The instrumentation is an orchestra, including the celesta. The text, it's a libretto written by Berg, based on Buchner's play. The setting of the scene, it's the moonlit forest, a path by the pond. And who is singing? Wozzeck. Wozzeck. And you'll notice Wozzeck, W-O-Z-Z-E-C-H. Those are 7 letters. So you spell his name 7 letters. Just like we have the Opus 7, and the act and the scene equals 7, the premiere equals 7, and the meter equals 7. Here is a look at that again. You'll notice all those accidentals. It is really atonal. And you can see all those questions. Where is he? Where has the knife gone? All those questions like, oh, Wozzeck is, singing that. So, and it's atonal. Which work is this? Well, the text really gave you the name of the title. Cantate Domino Catacam Novum. So, the composer is Part. You can remember it's Part because if you look at the score, you actually only see part of the notes. You're not seeing the stems of the notes. So you're seeing only part of what traditional notation would look like. So it is by Part. The date is 1977. You can remember that because 7/7, you could almost look at like that could be a quarter note with the stem going down. The 7/7, but it isn't that way. Here they just have the single note heads without the stems. But the date is 1977. As you can tell from the score, it is a choral work, as well as you can see that it is in B-flat major. The form is through composed. You can remember that because we only have the note heads, we don't have the stems. They look like little balls, and you can imagine them like they're hoops, like dogs jump through hoops or acrobats jump through hoops. And so they jump through the hoops, just like those stemless note heads. So it's through composed. Meter, well, none is provided, and that makes sense, because if you think of like Gregorian chants, there are none provided. The instrumentation is SATB, chorus and organ. The text is from Psalms 95 and 96. And you can remember that because the text is 95, 96, and the date is 97. So 95, 96, 97, 7. And the technique that is used is tintinnabulation. Tintinnabulation. Here's a look at that work again. Alright, here's a new work. Wow, look at that score and all the staves. It is Atmospheres by Ligeti. The premiere is 1961. The genre is orchestral music. The key is atonal. The form is through composed. The meter is 4/4. The tempo is molto sostenuto, and the instrumentation is orchestra with piano. And can you name one unusual effect? Ligeti calls for the piano strings to be brushed with wire brushes to create a continuous sound. So, it was Atmospheres by Ligeti. The year premiere is 1961. The genre is orchestral music. The key is atonal. The form is through composed. The meter is 4/4. The tempo is molto sostenuto. The instrumentation is orchestra with piano. Now here is a look at that again. Good job! Now that we have learned these all, try doing this again, and when you first see the score, see if you can come up with as much information as you can and then check your answers.